Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review. This time we're looking at a movie that is a Tubi original, which might make you be like, oh god, here we go. I mean, I love you Tubi, but like, you got some questionable content on there, especially some of your Tubi originals. But we're looking at Bed Rest. It came out in 2022, starring Melissa Barrera. You might know her from Scream, and Abigail, which came out like a couple months ago. This movie was actually voted on in a poll on my community tab, and Bed Rest won by quite a considerable amount. Going into this, I did not think my jaw would drop, especially for, again, no offense, a Tubi original, but those last 30 minutes, man, my jaw numerous times was like, wow, and then, I'd pick my jaw up off the floor, and then something else would happen. I'd be like, what are we doing here? Now, I can see why some people wouldn't like the ending this movie has, but when I'm hit with a truck full of crazy stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah, that was fun. I like a good time, and this gave me, I don't want to say a good time, but I'll say something I'll definitely remember for a while. Julie and her husband Daniel just bought a new house. It's actually not a new house, it's an old house, but it's new to them, so they're renovating it. They got construction going on throughout the day. Also, the one key thing to note is that Julie is pregnant. Julie is married to a guy named Daniel, and before he even opened his mouth, something in my head just immediately was like, yo, that dude's definitely British. And surprise, surprise, he is. And for some reason, he reminds me of, like, Adam Scott. So we got British Adam Scott in the house, so that's cool. One of the construction guys are working in the bathroom, and he finds a bracelet and hands it to Julie. It doesn't belong to her, but you've probably already guessed that that charm bracelet will be important later on. Before the creepy things start happening, we get a little bit of time to spend with Julie and Daniel, and they're just a little loving, quirky couple, and they even have a little kitty cat named Lou, which Lou is sort of a funny name for a cat. I don't know why. Early on, Lou is hissing at the bathroom door, but it's, probably nothing to worry about. So we know who our characters are, we know that they have a little cat named Lou, so let's get on to the spooky stuff. Early on in the movie, it's revealed that Julie and Daniel lost a son named Andrew. Daniel is using this new house of theirs to sort of have a fresh start, but Julie, on the other hand, definitely isn't ready to forget about Andrew.
It's like sometimes you forget he even existed.
And you forgot he ever died.
While walking up the stairs, Julie sees a little boy, which catches her off guard, and she takes a nasty tumble down the stairs and ends up in the hospital. The doctor says that there are only minor injuries and that the baby is okay, but to be cautious, he says Julie needs to stay in bed for the rest of her pregnancy.
You're saying you want me in bed for the next 8 weeks?
So Julie needs to go 8 weeks with avoiding as much stress as possible, which I'm sure that'll work out just fine. On day 1, she hears some noises coming from the closet, but there's nothing there. Then at night, she hears more noises coming from the closet. This time, Daniel gets up to go and check it out, and there's nothing there again. We're now on day 13. Julie looks out the window and sees a little boy playing outside. When she asks the little boy where his mama is, he points at her.
Where's your mama?
Julie has a baby monitor already set up because, of course, if your horror movie has a baby, you gotta have a baby monitor. And with a baby monitor in a horror movie, you gotta have some jump scares, too. Lou, of course, is being a silly little guy, but that's not the only thing that Julie sees on the baby monitor. Julie, of course, is freaked out, so she calls 911, locks the door, but then she sees footprints on the ceiling. But of course, you know the drill. The cops find nothing, and Daniel thinks all this stuff Julie's seeing is a result of her thinking about Andrew still. Speaking of Andrew, Julie is looking through a box that has his name on it, full of his things, and she even finds a little toy car. While Julie is laying down, she notices that the little toy car is actually rolling on the ceiling. She sees the little boy again, and he asks if the little sister can come out to play.
Can baby sister come out to play?
She starts to put the pieces together and thinks maybe this child could actually be Andrew. It's now day 23, and since Daniel is worried about Julie, he calls in a doctor named Delmy to help take care of her while Daniel's at work. While Delmy is checking up on Julie, Julie reveals that she actually spent 6 weeks in a facility due to some psychological things going on. Fast forward to day 29, and it's bath time. While Julie is splish-splash taking a bath, she sees the little ghost child again in the mirror. This time the little boy, which may or may not be Andrew, says, "Little sister coming."
Baby sister coming.
It's at this point where I'm starting to get a little annoyed of the ghost child because he has this little raspy voice, and he reminds me too much of the kid from The Dream Child, like the Fifth Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Didn't really like that one, and so just bringing back memories of that, but we gotta keep on rolling, I guess. Julie's main doctor says she can start taking her medication again because this far into the pregnancy, it won't really hurt the child. He knows that Julie's been seeing things and acting a little crazy, so he wants her to take care of herself, that way the baby will turn out alright. Julie takes her meds, and there's a montage showing that the next few days are actually pretty chill. It's now day 46, and there are 10 days left until the due date, and it's bath time once again. This time when Julie sees the little ghost child, he says she wants baby sister.
You should leave. She wants baby sister.
Right after he says that, it's hinted that Delmy might be the she he's referring to.
I want to know who wants baby sister.
Don't want you pruning on my watch. Gotta take care of our baby. Did you feel that? She kicked for me.
Julie goes on to tell Daniel that she does not trust Delmy, and she actually tells Daniel what's been going on and what she's learned.
She wants our baby. And that's why he's reaching out. He's trying to protect
Stop it! Stop!
Now, obviously, hearing your wife going crazy and talking about a ghost child that she's getting messages from, telling them not to trust their live-in Dr. Delmy, you know, obviously that's gonna make you kind of question what really is going on here. So Daniel storms out and he actually unplugs the baby monitor. It's now day 53 and there are 3 days left until the due date, and Julie is actually flushing her meds down the toilet. Delmy is once again taking care of Julie, and she tells Julie that she actually has lost 4 children during pregnancy at different times. She also tells the story of another woman who lost her baby girl in a tragic accident.
Every night, her cries could be heard around the lake lamenting the loss of her baby girl.
The name of the woman in the story is Melandra Kinsey. Julie goes on to do a little bit of research about Miss Kinsey, and it turns out she was actually one of the previous homeowners. And that charm bracelet that was found in the tub earlier in the movie, one of the charms actually says MK on it. See, I told you that was going to be important later on. It's the last day of Julie's bed rest, and you probably could guess that things are starting to get a little crazy. Julie attaches a phone to her little Roomba and drives it around to see what's going on. She finds Andrew once again, but the little shitter just runs away. When she finds the little ghost boy again, he's standing next to 2 other ghost boys. Things are really starting to pick up now because now there are footsteps slowly approaching her. And if invisible creaky footsteps weren't unsettling enough, there are actually hands now under her shirt rubbing on her belly. She calls in Delmy for help and she says that it could be early labor. Daniel is now finally back home, so him, Delmy, and Julie are all together. Julie brings up Melandra Kinsey and Delmy says it was just a made-up story, but actually she pulls up a newspaper article saying that she was a part of a murder-suicide. Melandra Kinsey had 3 boys and she was about to have a little baby girl. Sadly, her baby didn't make it, so she took it out on her children by drowning them. And to top it all off, apparently Daniel knew all of this before buying the house.
He drowned them
It was
all
a
in
long
the
time
bathtub.
ago.
You knew?
Shit starts shaking around the room and the power goes out. The closet is making noise once again, and it turns out there's a little kid in there playing with the bouncy ball. He says, "Better hide, mommy's coming."
Better hide. Mommy's coming.
Then does the freaky little crawl up the wall that all demon and ghost kids do in horror movies. Delmy tries to stand up for Julie, but it doesn't go too well. I have no idea what I was expecting, but it definitely was not that. Daniel and Julie try to escape the house, but some construction equipment bonks Daniel on the head and knocks him out. And if matters couldn't get any worse, Julie's water breaks. A nearby Jedi uses the Force to shove Julie into a bathtub, and now we finally see Melandra in ghost form slowly walking towards Julie. While Julie is lying in the tub, she actually has her baby. And while Julie is happy that she was finally able to deliver her baby, the good times do not last long because Melandra starts sucking the soul of the baby, I guess? To avoid having her baby's soul swallowed, she rocks the bathtub back and forth and actually delivers quite a cool line.
You don't get this one, bitch!
And the tub falls through the floor. Now, I'm not a doctor or an expert in physics or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure that would have killed Julie and her baby as well, so, but hey, whatever works, I guess. Daniel has finally come to, and he grabs the baby, and Julie tells him to go, but Melandra is back, and she is not ready to give up that baby just yet. Julie is back on her feet and tells Melandra to stay away from her child. Melandra darts towards Julie, but Julie chokes her, tells her to get out, and Melandra is sucked out the front door. Now, the past 10 minutes were a bit of fun and kind of cool and all that, but here is the absolute crazy part of this ending. The paramedics finally arrive at the house and Julie is still actually laying on the floor. I don't even know how to describe what's going on here. What I can only assume is Ghost Julie is standing there watching the paramedics try to bring her back to life. She sees the little ghost child that we've seen throughout the whole movie, which obviously ended up not being Andrew, because Andrew is actually in another room and Julie and her lost baby are finally reunited. And while it could have ended there, we are not done yet. Julie is holding little baby Andrew and there's a stairway to a glowing light, which I can only assume is like the stairway to heaven or something. Then out of nowhere, Delmy shows back up and she's in this ghost dimension now or whatever, the afterlife, whatever you want to call it. Julie sees Daniel crying as the paramedics are still trying to bring her back to life. She turns to Delmy and asks if she will take care of Andrew. She takes the baby and says, "We'll be waiting for you." And then Delmy walks up the stairs with Andrew into the glowing light. We fast forward a bit and Julie is actually alive now. Her, Daniel, their daughter, and most importantly Lou are all one big happy family, and what an ending that was. I will say though, it would have been really funny if Delmy was still the bad guy all along and they go back to that earlier hint that maybe she was the she who wanted the child. If they revealed in that whole afterlife little bit that Delmy was evil all along and used all this crazy shit to end up getting one of Julie's children, that would have been insane, but I think that would have taken it a little bit too far. And there you go, there's a rundown of the movie Bed Rest. You kind of have to see that ending to believe it, but I hope I explained it well enough to where you're like, what the hell's going on? Believe me, I'm still kind of in that what the hell is going on state, and I just like recited everything I just saw. Now the first hour of this movie, generic, a couple of good scares, but nothing I haven't seen before. Kinda, I don't want to say bland, but nothing special. Like I said in the beginning, the last 30 minutes just saved this thing from being generic ghosts in a house movie. It's so chaotic. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it put a smile on my face, had my jaw hit the floor because things were just happening out of nowhere. The whole afterlife scene, I just could not believe what I was seeing. Bed Rest, while not perfect by any means, is still kind of fun in a chaotic sort of way. I kind of like that messy side of horror. Melissa Barrera absolutely killed it. I think she is one of the best parts about this movie. She really did great in the role of going crazy but no one's believing me kind of thing. I think she nailed it, so shout out Melissa Barrera. Did a great job here. So there you go, Tubi original. It blew my expectations out of the water, but to be fair, they were a little low. Thought it would be bland, and it was for a bit, but then it really picked up, so this movie sort of saved itself with being really chaotic in the end. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Go check out this movie. It's on Tubi. Tubi's free, so go give it a watch. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.